Hello, hello. We're going to be getting going here in a minute. I'm going to get my thumbnail changed. Got to get this thumbnail changed. All right. Let's see. We're going to change that. All right, there we go. Okay, everybody. This is MrJosephTrades. It's my first ever live stream of trading. Let's take a look. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm set up here. We've got about 10 minutes before the market open. 10 minutes. Get positioned here so y'all can see my beautiful head. As you can tell, I'm in my trading outfit. You know, I wear a suit when I trade. Okay, let's take a look at the big picture here. This is the MNQ chart. We are in a bullish trend on the higher time frame. It wouldn't surprise me though to see price come test this EMA on the 4-hour. Overnight, you can see we've sort of been in a range, some chop. Check out the non-trending overlap. There has been buying going on. Let me zoom in a little bit. This is the 4-hour chart, remember. See on this 4-hour chart, price is above the EMA. Sunday night we had a bit of a dump. That was the 6 o'clock candle. And hey, I've got somebody joining me on the chat. Good morning, Dr. Newman. Yes, let's get this bread indeed. Well, what we're going to do first of all is we're doing a little pre-market analysis. And I was just talking about with the 4-hour, we're above the EMA. The last few hours have had some non-trending overlap, but overall there's been buying, as you can tell by the lower wicks. You see those lower wicks? All right, so that's our higher time frame bias, is long for the moment. But like I said, I would not be surprised to see price drop down and test this 25,149 level. All right, let's go to the 15-minute chart. That's pretty interesting. Let me respond here on my chat. I always like to respond on my chat, so if anybody's joining me and you want to ask a question, I try my best to see your comment and to respond in a timely manner. Let's see. Enjoy the gulag. Be grateful for the gulag, though. All right. Let's see. Here's our 15-minute time frame. Okay. You can see overnight how price tested the 200 EMA, then it went to a pivot point, then it rotated to the VWAP, then retested the EMA and went to another pivot point. And in my opinion, we could have a double bottom here, but the last 15 minutes, we also are getting the potential for a 2-bar bearish engulfing. So to me, these look like pretty choppy conditions. I think that once the market opens, I'm gonna wait for about 15 or 20 minutes before I do anything. What I'll be trading today is a Take Profit Pro account, copy traded with an eval that I have for Take Profit Pro. Excuse me. I'm trying to get 2 Take Profit Pro accounts. So that means I need to be very selective. It's sort of like fishing. When you're trading, you're really fishing. What do you do in fishing? In fishing, you wait. And you wait for what looks like a good condition. In trading, it's a good signal or a good setup. And then just like in fishing, you can be in the part of the ocean or the lake or the stream that has the best chance of catching a fish, but there's no guarantee you're going to land one. That's exactly how trading is. You just control what you can control, and after that, the market's going to do what it's going to do. So, consider your conditions that you're fishing in. Right now, we're fishing in, looks like some chop. You see these last 2 bars are overlapping, and then if you look at this bigger picture, you've sort of got a range the past, actually since about midnight till now. So again, this is the 15-minute chart. So we've got 4 minutes to open. Let's look at the 5-minute and see what happens. Once the market opens, I'll go back to the 15-minute to get an idea of the bigger picture. Let's see. Looks like that could be sort of a triangle too. Check that out. From where price tested that pivot point, and then it went there. Let's change the color on that. Nice. Okay. And then we can draw an upper trend line like so. Now the question will be, will price rotate in this little triangle, or will it break to one side or the other? And that's what we just have to wait and see. Let's see how that looks on our 15-minute chart. See that? I just drew it on the 5, but on the 15-minute, you can see it as well. So that's my little triangle consolidation it looks like we're in for now. 3 minutes till the open. 3 minutes. Mondays can be interesting because a lot of people haven't traded all weekend, and there can be some high volatility, and there can be some good action. Before you enter the market, you always need to know if there are any what I call red folder news events. So let me check my phone here. I've got an app that shows all these things. Now let's see. Today is December the 1st. Hard to believe it. We've only got 24 days till Christmas. That means I'll probably start shopping in about 22. I tend to save that to the last minute. There's a bit of a thrill element. Today we have 9:45 and 10 o'clock red folder events. 9:45 is manufacturing PMI. 10 o'clock is the ISM manufacturing PMI. I don't really understand the difference. I just know that they're red folder events, and I don't want to be in a trade when those come out. I prefer to let those events come and go and see how the market's reacting. 30 seconds to open. Let's switch back to our 5 minute. Looks like the overnight low was there. Let's see if price takes that overnight low. Sometimes when markets open, let's see if that's the right level. 193.5. 6 seconds. Getting a little bit of a bull burst. Whoa, that's quite a burst. Let's see what happens. Does it go above these swing highs and test this pivot point? That could be the case. Let's zoom in a little bit. Call this the now opportunity moments. When the market's actually moving, you have to just pay attention to what it's doing at this moment. Right now at this moment, with about a minute and a half, we've got some indecision. This is a 5 minute candle. I trade off the 5 minute off my MrJosephTrades platform. Let me show that to you. Let's see. There we go. That's my this is my execution platform. Whenever I see something I want to execute on, I'll come over to this screen and do that. But in the meantime, I like to analyze my charts with TradingView. TradingView is awesome. Look at that. Look at the selling that came in. So it couldn't get out of the triangle yet. What do you think? Do we go lower and take out the overnight low? Possible. Here's the 15 minute. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's pretty faint, but got overnight low right here, overnight high right here. Overall context. If this thing breaks out to the downside from this triangle, there are quite a few key levels it could travel to. So let's be on the lookout for that. Let's look at the 4 hour, see where we're at. I fully expect price to come test this, let's call it 149 or 150. That's less than 100 points away. So let's look at the big picture on the 4 hour. You see how we've had like, there was the ultimate high, there was a swing high. Looks like we're getting lower swing highs. Now, conversely, we could get buying and it could keep rotating higher. This is a tricky situation. I'm certainly not in the market right now. I'm just watching it. I'm fishing. Right now I'm looking at the water, seeing if I can see anything. Oh yeah? Okay. Well, Kristen might be right. Kristen may be right. Let's hope she uses proper size in case she's not. That's the key. Here's another thing about trading. We're fishing. Same thing to me. Look at these buyers. Here comes some buyers. 5 minutes left in the 15-minute candle. We might get a burst toward this pivot point. We might not. Let's see. When you trade, you really never know what the market's gonna do. What you do is you recognize your edge when it appears, Ideally, you wait for it. None of my edges have appeared yet, so that's why I'm just watching. And when your best edges come, you execute. Use proper size in case your edge lands on the wrong side of probability for that trade. That's the biggest consideration, is always figuring out what's the worst case scenario. You never want to, look at that, we might get a push to this bull pivot point. It's pushing, let's see. Could go to 43 if it can close above this 15-minute candle. Let's take a look at the 5. But how interesting. Did you see what price just did? This is the 15-minute. So far it respected that trend line from that triangle. It's funny when that happens to me, because as I've mentioned before, trend lines are subjective. So as opposed to how I like to trade, which is using mathematical levels, trend lines can really be drawn from anywhere, but darn if they don't work sometimes, at least temporarily. Let's look at the 5-minute now. All right, so price went up, tested the VWAP. We've got 4 minutes left. Looks like a bull push is coming. If buying keeps going on, it has to close above this candle. It's still early. When I execute on a trade, if I see a signal candle and then a possible entry candle, I always do my best to wait until the signal candle closes. If I were gonna go long toward this pivot point, I would consider this current candle my signal candle, and I would want to see it close above this VWAP. You see, this VWAP is this little line right here. It's this thin purple line. But look at the buying coming in. All right. It's a battle of bulls and bears. What's a stop loss? Super T. Super T in the house. Hey, look at that. We're getting a break. Oh, there it goes. Let's see if it gets up toward the pivot. Bulls look to be in control. Just so you guys know, if there were not these swing highs up here, I would consider placing an entry to this pivot point. But with these swing highs, price probably will stop before it cracks all the way through. But then again, since I'm not in it, it'll probably keep going and hit the target. That's pretty much how it goes. But part of disciplined trading is waiting for your A+ setups. This would be A+ for me if this structure was not in the way. But since it's in the way, it's not A+ to me. So I've got to watch and wait. What's a stop loss? Excellent question. Super T. A stop loss is an order that you place after you've entered, so that if you're wrong on your trade, you minimize your loss. That's why it's called stop loss, because you're not just wishing and hoping that it turns around. Look at that. With a minute left to go in the candle, the bears came in. Look how price wicked above right at that trend line. And with 30 seconds to go in the candle, looks like the bears may be in control for a rotation in this triangle, but we still have 25 seconds. Big news in 6 minutes. Big news in 6 minutes. This is what we call the chop. I'm not interested in the chop. Think about if you were long when you got excited right above here, right above the VWAP, because you thought price was going to hit that pivot. Whoa. That's what we call a disappointment. Now look at this. Look at that big bearish candle. Then bulls come in and start buying it. This is a very choppy situation. Not interested. I mean, I'm interested to watch it, just not trade it. It's not for me. Look at this. Let's see what the volatility is today. Yeah, well, it makes sense that we're choppy because the volatility is nearly 11% higher than the previous session, currently around 18. I have the VIX is a measure of volatility. I have it pulled up on another chart here, but you see it's highlighted, so I can look at it real quick. A little bearish push. Odds are good that we get the overnight low taken, and that would be another situation I would want to trade if not for the following. We've got this part of the triangle. We've got a pivot point. See, these are all acting as barriers to price getting to that overnight low. When I take a trade to one of my levels, I like there to be a clear path, as they say. The less noise for price to reach a logical market objective, the better. So when you're trading, think about the pain people can be in, different market participants. You know, so people who went long here at the opening candle just got stopped out if they placed their stop below that opening candle, right? Then people who went short here above the 21 EMA, I might add, which is an interesting place to go short above a moving average, but you can do it. They experienced a little bit of pain on the next candle when price retraced more than half. I've seen this a lot. It wouldn't surprise me if price goes above this 940 candle and goes back to the top of the body of the 935 candle. Chop suey. It also wouldn't surprise me if we get a dump to the pivot point and lower. Whoa, that's a move. Does it respect the lower bound of the triangle? It just hit the pivot point. Look at that. Look at that. Check it out. I'm going to zoom in so you can see. Look how price dumped very close to the pivot point and buyers came in. Now there might be further selling going on, but a lot of machines at institutions took profit when it reached a logical market objective, which was that pivot point. Now some buyers are coming in. Look at that. We've got 1 minute, actually 30 seconds until the first piece of red folder news. Let's see what the reaction is. I'm going to zoom out a little, so it might be wild. Let's see. Eight seconds, and counting. The news is out. Does it do anything to the price? What's that phrase that some people say when you expect something big and it doesn't happen? They call it a nothing burger. That was a nothing burger. All right, the next piece of news is out at 10. So far today, we've got a chop range. What I'll do a lot of times when I'm fishing, trading, is I'll wait until the first hour has gone by and I'll see what the low and high of the session are. Most trading days are ranges. I've been doing some analysis, and actually over 60% of trading days are ranges. So see, now the bears who went short at 935 are getting disappointed. I bet price goes back up to the VWAP. Let's see what it does after that. I'm drinking some coffee out of my favorite mug. Sorry I wasn't listening, I was thinking about trading. So, yes, that can happen. I used to work with someone named Emily Gober who gave me that mug. It's one of the best gifts I've ever received. Now this candle's starting to look a little more interesting. What do we have here? Look, it took that buy-side liquidity of that candle that I was talking about. Now the question is, does it keep going or does it rotate back down? On my charts, the up candles are white and the down candles are blue. I don't use red and I don't use green, or green and red, however you want to think about it. Those have been found to be too psychologically triggering. Whoa, look at that. We've got to move. Can you take me higher? Let's see. You see how it ran into some resistance there? That's what I was talking about. That happens a lot. And then right here, there's more resistance, but it might want to test it nonetheless. Let's see. Looks pretty strong. But now they're selling. Thank you. Yes, well, like I said, if anybody happens upon this live stream, like a video, and they see me just sitting there like a knot on a log, then they're not very likely to join in, once it really gets cooking. So That's why I'm doing this. All right, that's good. That's real good. It could not go higher. It could not go higher. And it sold. Look at that wick. Look at the wick. Look at the wick. Yeah, man. Watch this. Does it keep going? Does it make a push? Or does it start forming the range? Like I said, nearly 63% of days on the NASDAQ are ranges. Nearly 63. Which way do I need to turn my head? Do I need to turn it this way? There. It's a little better, huh? Bulls might be on parade. What was that phrase? The boss gets $1, I get a dime, I'm using the bathroom on company time. Well, that can happen. You know, in my opinion, this is a great use of your time because you get to process the Taco Bell and you get to see some live market action. Let me zoom in a little bit. I expect the bulls will test this pivot point. But again, I would not be in this trade because there's too much clutter to the left. You always have to look to the left of where you are because the more clutter, you can think of it as barriers. Resistance is another word. Hey, I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, another thing is, you know, like I was saying, you always want to wait until your signal candle has closed before you do an entry. So, what I was hoping for earlier, check out this 935 candle. If that had been bullish, I may have considered going bullish to that pivot point, but look how it closed. That's why you always have to wait. You've got to wait. If you're early, you know, they say the early bird gets the worm, but in trading, that's not, you don't want to be the early bird in trading. You just don't. Well, the signal candle, so far I haven't seen a signal candle for a trade I would take, but earlier I was talking about, you see this 930 candle? If the 935 candle had closed above VWAP, I would have considered a long entry to this pivot point, but look at the disappointment. So, and that's why I didn't take it. But now I bet you it goes anyway. It's just so close. There's a magnetic pull to things like this. But that being said, there's a heck of a lot of barrier to the left. So we might just get ugly chop. See, either way, I'm not trading this. It's not worth the risk to my capital. If it goes up, that's fine. It's just proof of how strong these magnets are. There it goes. Watch what happens. I bet it pops and touches this. Looks like the programs want to test it. But then again, they might be taking profit right here. You see this bear candle from 4:10 in the morning? They might be taking profit about 337. What's the high of this current candle? 336.75. That would make a lot of sense. It also makes a lot of sense for it to keep going. I bet we get a pop. But not with my own money. It's not that good of a bet. Can you take me higher to a place where the pivot point is. I bet it does. Just a few more points. There it goes. It's getting close. What's the level? 45? Does it get to 43? 43 would be where I would take a profit on this trade if I were in it. I think it pops it. Only a few more points. Watch it. All it has to do is get 4 more points up. Boom! Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. That's what happens with these magnets. Do I wish I would have been in it? Of course. But like I said, it was not A+ because of this jump to the left. Now that being said, let's look at this bigger picture here. Look at this. This is the overnight high. Price could rotate all the way up if the programs start buying. The next target for me would be about the 420 level if it keeps going higher. Let's look at the 15-minute. Check out that bull candle. Wow. Looks like it's gonna pop. All right, I'm gonna set an order. So what I like to do is when price is about 20 points below a level like this, I like to set an entry. But then you gotta keep in mind, there's a psych level about right there. I bet it hits this psych level. Let's set an order at 25,380. I bet it gets there. Hopefully I'm not gonna miss. I'll risk 2 micros. 25. Let's see, 25,380. All right, let's see what happens. I'm only in 2 micros. I'm targeting 398. Let's see if we get continued buying or if it rejects from this pivot. This is my NinjaTrader execution screen. Ah, there's selling coming in. I don't know. I think buyers might want to take it higher. Let's see. What's my risk? I always have to think about my risk. That's the first thing you do. I take it for granted that I think about it. So 43, 80. Let's call it 40 points of risk. So I'm risking $160 on this trade if I get tagged in, which is okay. That's reasonable. Thank you, doctor. All right, let's see what happens. I use a buy stop because when the market moves really quick, sometimes if you use a stop limit, you won't get entered in. Now look, if this candle closes weak, I'm going to remove this order. The risk is nearly 40 points. So since each point on the micros are $2, I'm risking about $160, which is fine. But that's assuming I get tagged into the trade. I might not be. Ah, look at this. We got sellers coming in. That's looking pretty weak. Let's see how the candle closes. If this candle closes strong and takes out the stops of the bears, it'll be an even better situation. But if it rotates back down, I'll just keep watching. Well, I haven't entered yet. Not in yet. Well, now we got some bulls coming in, but let's see how it closes. 47 seconds. Oh, there's red folder news coming at 10. I don't need to be in a trade. I just remembered that. If red folder news was not coming, I would keep the order. That being said, I bet it pops higher. Look at that. There. Now what does it do? Does it keep going? Let's see. Let's take a look at this chart. If it gets past the 400s, I'm going to go for a long to that next pivot point. But that being said, look at the reaction to the news. This is cool. So the reaction to this news, it would not be uncommon to see price rotate lower at this time. It also would not be uncommon to see buyers come in. I'm going to place an entry order at 402. Let's see. That might be a little too big a size. Let's try 3. All right, we've got some buyers stepping up. What's my risk? It's always the first question to ask. What's your risk? It's a lot if I get tagged in from here, but hopefully I get tagged in on the next one. If I were to get tagged in here on an impulse move, I would put my risk, or I would put my stop loss at about 364. So that's about 35 points of risk. Let's just round up to 40. So that would be $240 of risk. But it looks to me like the buyers are struggling. So the news has come and gone. The news has come and gone, and price looks to be indecisive right now. I've got my entry order resting above in case price demonstrates strength. Ah, look at this. What if you were long right here? Check it out. What if you got sucked into the FOMO on this candle, and you missed the obvious target right here to the pivot point. That's where price wanted to go. And then you said, well, I'm not quite sure. Let's see what happens. And then you got in here, and then the next candle was doing this. How would you be feeling right now? You might be getting a little nervous. Let's look at this. So we got sellers coming in, possibly going to take out this stop loss from the previous candle and make a downward rotation. All right. The market exists to inflict pain on as many participants as possible. So when you're trading, always think about, hey, looks like we have someone else in here. Hello, whoever's watching. Thanks for joining me. Stick around. We're trying to see if we get anything to fish today. I call trading fishing, because much like fishing, you have to be very patient. I've got a 5-minute chart pulled up right now, and I'm just waiting to see more clarity. Right now, we don't have too much clarity. We did see a bull push up to this pivot point, and looks to be the beginning of an expected bearish rotation down to the 21 EMA and VWAP. Look at this. Look how close the VWAP and 21 EMA are. There's also a possibility, you want to talk about disappointment. These bears might be disappointed. If this price gets above this bearish candle, it could very well pop to the next pivot point. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Patience and sizing are the name of the game in trading, once you know what you're looking for. For those who just joined me, this is my trading view chart. It's a 5-minute chart of the micro, the MNQ. And this is my execution platform. Oh, I still have my order resting above. Know what I might do is put a little order above that bear candle, and if it pops, it'll have some strength going higher. It's sort of like a bull flag situation, but it could also tag me in and immediately go back down. But I'm liking the fact that the bulls on this the bears on this previous candle are getting real nervous right now. So let's see, what would my risk be if I were to be tagged in long? The low's about 330, high's about 385. Gosh, that's about $100 worth of risk, but if it gets above it, I think we've got a chance for a pop. So I'm willing to take $100 worth of risk. Whoa, let's see. There we go. All right. Let's see what happens. Sometimes with these bull flag situations, they turn out just to be choppy ranges. Other times they have continuation. We got 2 minutes left in this candle. So the question is, will price punish the bears of the previous candle and keep popping? Or will it rotate lower? The trend is up on the 5-minute. The trend is up on the 15-minute. Look, here's the 15-minute. If I get tagged in, I'm going to put my take profit at 420. This is looking pretty bullish to me. Especially if it can get above this candle and make a pop and have follow through. It's not an ideal bull flag because the flag pole, there's some selling at the top of it, but rarely in the markets are everything as pretty as you would want them. Sometimes you just have to take your chances. I find that bull flags, from my research, have at this time about a 69% win rate. I haven't analyzed a thousand trades yet, but I'm getting there. Look, see, now we've got selling. I might have to take that order off, especially if this thing goes lower. Let's see how it closes. We've got 19 seconds left in this candle. Bulls are stepping up. Looks like they want to keep it going. The good news is if I get tagged in, my stop loss should be a little higher, which will reduce my risk. I have to ask myself, am I just wanting to get in a trade because I missed the push to this pivot point earlier? In other words, is this an A+ situation? Well, there's nothing to the left. There's consolidation right here, which could be a bull flag. This is the 15-minute. There's 4 minutes left to go. If this 15-minute candle closes at the high and keeps pushing, I feel pretty confident that it goes up to this pivot point. Let's look at this 15-minute candle. That's why I like looking at the 15-minute. You get a more clear picture of what's going on without all the chop. Now, it's also possible this 15-minute candle could close indecisive or weak. If that's the case, I'll take off my order, my long entry. Now look, there's selling coming in. With 3 minutes left. Let's see who wins this battle on the 15-minute candle. On my chart, the 15-minute candle, I have up chart. The up candles are white and the down candles are purple. Three minutes to go. The high of this candle is 385. Let's see where my order is. I've got my order entry of 385.75, which is fine. Look, we got a little strength. Let's go back to my 5 minute to manage my risk properly if this thing pops higher. See, here's the 5 minutes, what this looks like. Lows, so now 349. So see, now if I get tagged in, I always place my stop losses below my entry candle. So in this case, if this turns out to be the entry candle, I'll place it at 349. Here comes some bulls. Got 2 minutes left in the candle. Are they going to make these bears pay? And are they going to drive the price higher? Let's see. Time will tell. Here comes some buyers. Looking strong. Are they going to pop it? Yep, I'm tagged in. Let me put my stop loss. 349. I'm tagged in. 349 is my stop loss. All right. And I've got another order above. This could also very easily be just a range that gets sold. And that might be the case. Not looking too good. With a minute left in this candle, I'm thinking I'm going to get stopped out, but that's all right because I've only got one micro on. Yeah, I'm going to get stopped out. I believe. Which is fine. Unless some buyers come in and help me out, which I don't expect they will based on how this is going. Nope. All right. So now what I'm going to do, that's fine. I took a very small loss. Now I'm just going to keep watching it for sure. So let's see. Yeah, so I lost $82 on that trade. You know, what can you do? Now it would not surprise me to see price chop around for a while. Now what will happen to a lot of people is you'll take a loss and you'll go the other way or try to make the money back immediately, and you can't do that. Take a few minutes, take about a 5-minute break, and reassess the situation and see if any other really good setups appear. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a 5-minute break. Look at this ugly action. Ugly. It's like a little range right now. So yeah, look, just of course I get stopped out and price is going to keep going up. But let me show you on the right here. Look at this chop. Let's look at the 15-minute. So the 15-minute paints a picture of this candle had a lot of buying, tested this key level of a pivot point. The next candle, the volume was pretty high, but there was some bull disappointment, but it was actually an indecision candle, because look at that, you have lots of selling, lots of buying. Now the key will be what happens on this next one. We've got 13 minutes until IBL and IBH are set. You know, I wanted my first trade on a live stream to be a win, but what I want has nothing to do with what price does. Price does what price does. Price do what price do. And right now, price is looking like doo-doo. Look at this. Non-trending overlap. It's exactly what I warn about not wanting to get involved in. And see, it's so easy to want to go long on something like this, on a stop above this level, which is actually the concept I used for where I thought this was a bull flag. Let me show you. ellipse. But it was not the best looking bull flag. See, let's go back in time. At the time, I saw this move up to this key level. I saw a bit of a pause. Your ideal bull flag is gonna, on the flagpole, have a close near the top of the candle. But I think I just wanted to get in a trade because I missed this move up to this pivot point. That's okay. So then this next candle was bullish, so I said, okay, maybe price will pop up. And you see what happened? It tagged me in and immediately stopped me out. And so, looks to be in some chop action. All right, guys, I'm gonna step out for a second. I'm gonna take a little bathroom break, get a bagel and a refill of coffee. And when I get back, we'll check out what IBL and IBH are. We'll mark them up on the charts and see if that helps lead us to any high quality situations. We might not get any today. That's okay. You can't force anything. Here's my Ninja Trader. Yeesh. Sheesh. Oh, look at that. It's gonna dump to the moving average. I think. If it dumps to the moving average, that actually might be a good trade. But I'll still have to hold on and wait for candles to close and everything. But see, that would mean it would have to go below this range. As you can see, buyers stepped in at this range. Look at this little chop range. I think it's gonna go test the moving average though. Yes, sir. Here's the 15-minute. Excellent, excellent. Like a daily review. All right, I'll be back, guys. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I promise. It'll be worth your while. we're back. Oh yeah, look at this. Price is gonna hit this and probably reverse, but I gotta wait. Look at that. Okay, there was immediate buying. I think price is gonna test that liquidity. 338, okay. Stop loss, 308, so that's 30 points of risk. This is $60. Let's see. If there wasn't such an immediate strong reaction right there, I wouldn't be placing my order this early. But look how price popped up. Now, conversely, if it keeps going down, then I'll wait for something better. Look at that. Okay. I'm in. Put my take profit about right there. Let's see. Come on. Let's push it. Remember how I said you gotta wait until things close? Yeah, well, I didn't on this one, and I might pay the price. And then again, it might work out. Let's see. Pop it up. Let's go. Come on. Not really what I wanted to see. I'm going to get stopped out on this one too. Whoops. Potentially. Trying to make sure my stop loss is in the right place. Well, it's times like this where you just follow your plan, hope for the best. Let's see if price pushes up to that liquidity. We'll see. Let's go. Come on, price. Let's pop it up. About 50 seconds left until it closes. Not looking good. $20 seconds. See if the bears can be frustrated. Nope. They're gonna get me. Come on, bulls. Punch it. Brutal. If price makes it above this bear candle, I'm gonna layer in pretty strongly for this quick pop. Let's see. I don't expect that to happen though. Nope. Hmm. 0 for 2. Yeah, be kidding me. Now it's gonna pop up. No, I don't want to sell. Let's see what happens. Looks like it wants to test this. It might have just gotten me earlier, but if you shorted below this, that's disappointment right now. This price action is tricky, for sure. A minute until the candle closes. So now look, we've got IBL and IBH set. I'm going to take this order off right here. Taking that off. I want to buy a little bit lower. If price were to come down here, that would be a great place to buy. Let's see. That was the 945 candle. I'm going to get rid of this trend line. Get rid of that trend line. Clean things up a little. getting a bearish rotation. This has the potential to also be one of the toughest types of days to trade, a triangle day, like a small type triangle. But let's see how this goes. On days like today too, look how close the EMA and the VWAP are together, and they're both like flat. Don't expect big trending conditions in these days. But do expect price to gravitate toward those levels. Let's see if we can get some buyers. Come on, buyers. This is rough, man. I tell you. Rough price action. I just made a mistake with this because my size was too big. I got excited when I saw price pop above that bearish candle. And even if this works out, my risk is still too large. So I'm cutting it. 0 for 3. I'm off to a great start here on my live stream. Oh man. You might ask why I entered that last trade. Because I thought it was going to run stops and keep going up. I still think it's going to run stops, but I have to use better sizing. There we go. Okay. I'm going to stay in this one until it plays out one way or the other. Come on, buyers. I'm going to put my take profit right about there. Let's see if the buyers can push it up another 20 points. Come on. Let's go. Push it. Let's go. Looking strong. Come on now. Finish strong. Come on, baby. Push it up. Push it, push it, push it. Don't do the triangle. Oh no. Push it. There we go. Keep going. There we go. Keep going. Tap it. Yes, sir. All right, my first win on my live stream. Great. All right, guys, so that one would have been a win. And if I had just followed my advice about letting things close, did you see what I did there? I entered at the close of this, and it popped up and it took the buy side liquidity just below that pivot point. So what happened was I got excited watching it form, because once price got above here and then it had a little retracement, I had too much size on. And you can't really do that, but I did it. Something I try not to do. I mean, not catastrophic damage, but just irritating when I know I could have avoided losing that money. Now what? Now what's this market gonna do? So you see it just pushed above this reversal candle and took that buy side liquidity. It's 10:41. The VIX has slowed down a little. Price is moving pretty ugly. I still think there's a chance that if price gets above 389.75, that it pops and makes a rotation toward the overnight high. And before that, it could have a stop at this pivot point. But right now, I'm down minimally on my Take Profit Pro. I'm down $136.50. You know, the key is when you have a day where things aren't quite moving like you would like, is to keep the losses small as possible. So I'm getting close to turning it off for the day. But before I do that, I'm going to set some alerts so that if price reaches levels I'm interested at, I can come back and take advantage. But based on how it's been moving so far, it's just not moving well enough where I think I want to play in it too much longer. Let's look at the 4 hour. Yeah, I really think that at some point we could get a pop higher to test 482. That would be a nice move. 390. Let's see, when you look at this 15-minute, there's only been one bullish bar since the open, that big one, off that 9:45 news candle. And oh, did you not see the long I took that I finally got a winner on? I took the long and finally got a winner. Finally got a win. First one. Did you not see it? you probably had to step away and help a customer, which, you know, that's what happens. Yeah. Thanks, man. Okay, so what do we have? We've got, how big is this IBL, IBH? They say, what's he talking about, IBL, IBH? Well, that means inner balance low and inner balance high. So between 9:30 and 10:30, you can mark the low and the high. And when price approaches those levels, they can be levels of interest for either a breakout and or a rotation in the range. So looks like the IBL is 389.75. So let's mark that. Let's see, I like it to be precise. Let's get it right. 389, all right, perfect, okay. And then it looks like the low, which is the bottom of this 9:30 candle, is 209. So, all right, so see, now we have a potential range day framed by the IBL and the IBH. And right now, on the 15-minute candles, I notice a few things. I notice the majority of the candles are bearish. One is a strong bull candle where it basically went to the pivot point levels. And then we've got a doji candle, more or less, is the only other bullish one for the day. So where would I be interested in buying again? If price is, look how it's hanging around the EMA and the VWAP. You see that? It's like they're magnets. So since the overall context of the market is bullish, this is my 4-hour time frame, and we're above the EMA, really I would want to only be interested in longs today, because the odds are higher for them to work out, since that's the higher time frame bias. So let me look at some. I would be real interested if price came down here to the 248 level. So I'm going to place an alert right there. Place an alert, okay. And equally, if price can pop above this IBH, I would be very interested in a bull push to this pivot point. So I'm going to put an alert right there. Now these alerts are only in case I step away from the charts. But while I'm looking at the charts, you know, I see what's going on. Something else you have to watch out for when price tests an IBH or an IBL is you've got to be aware of the potential for a double top in this case, because if it tests where the IBH was and you see they're selling, you've got to really wait for it to break strongly, to close strongly above. See, let's look at this on the 5-minute chart. Look at all those wicks. So that's selling. So for me to go long to this pivot point, I would have to see a strong close above the IBH. And to see a strong close, I would have to wait till the candle closes if it made it above that level. That's one of the hardest things to do, because a lot of times it looks like it's just going and going, and you want to get in, and at the very moment you get in, it reverses. That's what happened to me on this one earlier. It did end up going up and catching that buy side liquidity, but not before it had retraced nearly 30-something points. So see, we're in this range. EMA and VWAP are very close. Let's see if price can get above the IBH. If it does, I'm going to have an order ready to go for this next pivot point, because it looks like it's making a push. But again, be cautious that it's not just going to test these wicks and then reverse. Let's see. I'm going to, if it gets right about there. Okay, let's see what happens. Does it close strong and keep going? Let's see, that's so 20. All right, 02. If I get tagged in, I'm going to put my stop about 380 and put my profit target at 420. All right, I think I'm going to get tagged in. Let's hope for the best. Come on, bulls. Just reached a psych level. All right. Looks like it's moving. Let's go, let's go. Uh-oh. Some selling coming in. Come on, bulls. Let's go. Push it. Push it, push it. Let's go. 12 more points. I said my stop was going to be 380, so let me honor that. All right, come on, bulls. This could be a double top too. I might be in trouble. Come on, bulls. Let's push it. Push it, push it. You can do it. Come on, bulls. A minute until the candle closes. Let's see if it pushes it. Come on, baby. 15 more points. Come on. You know you want to. Let's go. I'm in profit by 10. Let's go. Keep it going. Push it, push it. Six points away. I think I'll take my 10 points. I don't like the way it's selling there. Well, it was a profitable trade. It's probably gonna keep pushing. Watch. See, this is one of my biggest problems, is getting out too early. Watch it continue to push. I bet you it will. Let's look and see. Maybe I'm glad I sold. Nah, I think it's gonna push, but that's okay. That's okay. That's a winning trade. We'll take it. Gets me back to just about break even on my Take Profit Pro. So, which is good. I was down about 100 and, what did I say, 130 or 150, and now I'm only down 34. You know how bad I want to get back in it, but I can't do that because it's called chasing. Even though I know it's very likely to pop up. Watch. Yeah, see, it just, sometimes when it gets close to one of these levels, well, actually every time I see it get close to one of these levels, I want to see it get sucked all the way up real quick. Sometimes it does this and it'll still make it, but man, it makes it nerve-wracking. Gotta be disciplined. Gotta be disciplined. Let's look at the overall context here. There it goes, of course. Of course. Watch. It's gonna pop it. What was the high? It only needs a 1.5 points to reach the ideal take profit. 420 was where I wanted to hold it until. Here we go, 2 more points. Gonna pop it and probably go to the next one above it. Take a look. See, 1 more point. What was the high? 0.75. Wow, it got to within a tick. You know how frustrating it is to when price gets to within a tick of your take profit and it doesn't hit it? 420 is my ideal take profit. Let's see if it hits it. It's gotta get to right there. Man, they're making it tough. They're making it tough. Oh man. Woo! How nerve-wracking. Come on. 8 more points. 19 seconds. Let's get to 420. Pop it. Pop it, pop it. Pop it. 5 seconds. Oh, wow. That got to within 1.25 points. It just can't seem to do it yet. Yeah, see, when you have a trade on like this to a pivot point, now you sort of understand why I sold on this one. Although the odds are it still goes to the pivot point, but sometimes, especially if you've had some losers like I did earlier, you just want to lock in some profits. And I know that if I don't let it play out all the way, I know that I'm shortchanging my profits. But sometimes it's about getting your confidence back. Let's see. If this doesn't pop up, we could have another rotation down and another prime long situation at the EMA. So I'm going to put an alert right there also. Although I think ultimately it's going to pop to the pivot point. Price has really slowed down. Usually about 11 o'clock it slows down. Watch this. Let's see if the bull algos can pop it. You keep in mind what price is just controlled by all these institutions, like all over the world mainly. Like, you know, if you're trading at home, you have no influence over price. All these programs that are running are just pushing price to test various levels. And so when you notice certain tendencies of levels getting tested, you can get edge. Then the hard part is following your rules. So, which is why down here I messed up, because it had tested the 21 EMA, which is a key level, and started heading back up, and I got too excited and I entered early. Fortunately, I had enough conviction in the idea to get back in. Look, now it's going to hit it. Let's go back. But the bottom line is, trading is a game of patience and discipline. Easier said than done. Really curious to see if they finally take it to that pivot. When I have a take profit on a key level, I like to front run it by a few points. So, because a lot of times if you wait till the actual level is hit, they won't quite bring it to that price. In this case, they brought it to within a tick, which is as close as you can get. Comes some buyers. You got that lower wick. I think they're going to pop it up, but who knows? Be nice to see it instead of this lollygagging around. Powell. Does Jay Powell speak today? I don't know. He might. Jay Powell may speak. I wonder if he's going to turn on the money printer. Come on, machines, test that level. That's what we want to see. 20 seconds in the candle. Thanks for the advice, doctor. I will take that to heart. I will do a better job of watching the chat. Indecision, the doji. This could be a reversal or a continuation. Look, people went short there. Look at this. Looks like I smell a reversal. Now see, they might want to come after these stops on this candle. This is what we call sit back and watch mode. Now look at all the liquidity in this candle that there is to get. A lot of liquidity. Well guys, I think I'm going to call it for the live stream today. I'm nearly flat on my Take Profit Pro, which is a lot better than being down big, you know. Let's see. I'm down $34 on my Take Profit Pro. So it's still at 54.57, which is good. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Take care.